Okay, page 4. I go for refuge and am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations of practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge and am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations of practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge and am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations of practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Sanje joda soge chonam la chanjo bardo dani gyapsush dage jinso gebe sonam ge droba penjir sanje drubara isho Sanje joda soge chonam la chanjo bardo dani gyapsush Dage jinso gebe sonam ge droba penjir sanje drubara isho Sanje joda soge chonam la chanjo bardo dani gyapsuch Dage jinso gebe sonam ge drola penjire sanje drupara sho Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum te shamdata gato hyabatat esham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye swaha Om Prabhavam Hetum tesham datagato yavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye swaha Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham datagato yavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye swaha All phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata. The cessation of causes as well is taught by the great seer. Okay, so yesterday we were talking about the 4 seals. The first seal is done. Okay, I hope that all of us we have the 4 seals on our fingertips. Okay, raise hands those who have the 4 seals on their fingertips. Okay, good. So we're done with the all-composite things, impermanent, all-contaminated things are suffering nature. Now number 3 is everything's in nature, emptiness, selflessness. What we said about this is that the all-contaminated things are suffering nature. We talked about suffering, and it's actually good to say that we have some experience of the suffering, pain in our life, for us to be reminded that we are in samsara, that we are not that we are not in nirvana. As a reminder, that would be helpful. And okay, just one time what happened was that my sister's little daughter, who was just then, I think about maybe 10 years old. And the first time when she was with her mother and went to a place, and the place where the people were relatives. And the person was a little complicated. That person was a little complicated, a very difficult person. And somehow my sister had to leave for half an hour, and this little girl should be with that family. And this girl, all these 10 years, she thought that the world is so perfect, where you're with your parents. And suddenly she saw a world very different. The mother left, and so that particular person was extremely biased and totally cold. And this little girl was shocked. And so later my sister came, and then she informed this to the sister. My sister called me. And it was very painful. I couldn't understand what this little girl was going through. And I told my sister, that is good for her. That she has to know that the world is not perfect. So this is the age. This is the age where you should be a little exposed how the world is not perfect. Where the world is not like, and wherever you go, your parents are there. No. So this is not the world. What you have seen in the world is not the real world. Real world is you go out and then see all of challenges, competitions, and cruelty. These things are there. So it pained me to hear that this little girl just went through this pain. It pained me. And at the same time, I told my sister that don't worry, this is how the child should become strong, to learn how to face the world. So for us, for me, for you, for each one of us, we go through our difficult life challenges. It's good to remind us that this is samsara. As long as we are under the sway, under the control of contaminant karmic afflictions, this is what it is. This is what it is. So this is how we have to go. So if you're angry really with this, if you're angry with these situations, the people who are nasty to you, or the people who are so, cruel, cold. How many have experienced such situations where people are really cold and nasty? Who cares? It's this attitude. You see, your business, it's not my business, it's your problem. Who cares? This kind of attitude, how many of you have met? Yes. Men? Oh, okay. Men should have met more, I know. Right? People who are cruel to the animals. Right? And then they say, then you start fighting with them. Explain them. Okay, so what I'm saying is that this is what happens. So from this, what we come to learn is that where there is the self-grasping in self-centered attitude, somehow we have problems. So the happiness, joy, the light, the things being so alive, brought by money, brought by power, brought by your parents, they are so superficial. These are not the real you. So the real you is when the money is gone, when the power is gone, when your parents are gone, when you own, then see. So who's is able to manifest their true nature inside, hatred and trust inside? These people are happy. Those people who cannot manifest the true inside, the trust inside, they are not happy. So this is what we have to know. And yes, we have, with our own life experience, we see that this is true. So meanwhile, I would say that, for example, like Min here, whose heart is for the animals, who wants to protect the life of the animals, who want to fight for the animals' rights. So there, if you feel the pain, that pain is different from the pain that we go through. Oh, this person is not kind to me, that person is not kind to me, so cruel to me. And whereas these people are cruel to the animals, that's not justifiable. These people are cruel to other people, that's not justifiable. So you feel the pain, that pain is so precious. That pain makes you work harder. Whereas you may come across a situation where you feel demoralized. Now where lies the hope? If that happens, sometimes happen, Okay, when that happens, it's very important to make sure that that there are good people around you. There are good people. But you know that there are many good people there. The only thing is that we have to identify them. For example, say, so now how Min is seeing me today and how Min was seeing me 3 years ago is very different. Yes, Min? Today, because yesterday we met and I told her how I support the animal shelter and so forth. Her eyes, they glowed with joy. You're getting it? Oh, now Geshe is very different to her. Right? Earlier, oh, he's a Dhamma teacher. Now, oh, he's actually working for the animals. Yes? Yeah, it changed. I sense it. I sense it. So what I'm saying is that yes, we are not to mix up the two things. Where, say, you feel hurt versus you feel hurt for yourself, you feel hurt for others. These are very different. You feel hurt for others, like poor animals or other human beings in Gaza, Ukraine, or wherever, domestic violence and so forth. When you see these things, then you feel hurt, you feel injured, you feel like helping them. That is so precious. Whereas you feel hurt for yourself. Of course, you have to stand for yourself. But the point is that if you say, okay, I have to teach a lesson to this person, I have to teach a lesson to this person, this will never stop. This will never stop. So, protect yourself from having to go through difficulties in the hands of other people. Protect yourself the best you can. But keep in mind that this is not 100% doable. But you can do it to some extent. Finally, so you just see how to awaken the hidden treasure. You awaken the hidden treasure, discover the hidden treasure, and then you can protect yourself and you, for example, like His Holiness the Dalai Lama. I remember, say the Tibetans, since once I was in Mongolia, and I'm vegetarian. You don't really get any food there, to be very honest. It's always meat. And then you can blame them also, because this is such a barren land where you don't get anything except for the meat. So, say morning, milk and rice. Afternoon, milk and rice. Evening, milk and rice.
Horses milk.
Yes, horses milk. And then at one point, you feel, what is that? What's the English word? Huh? No. When I do this, it's not this here. So, say you feel like tired of this thing, and then the nausea comes with the milk. Every milk, nausea comes. And then you have nothing to eat, rice and water. So this way. But we cannot blame the people there. We should be very realistic. Because it's a barren land, you have to survive. Tibet, same. And coming back, the tradition, I wouldn't say culture, it's the custom, the practice of the people to depend on meat. So come to India, still on meat. Then His Holiness, just one word of His Holiness. Look, one word of His Holiness, 1,000 stop meat. One word, look. Whereas Min and myself, if you go, one by one, 10 words to one person, 100 words to one person. Even that effective, not sure. Yes? Whereas His Holiness, one word, thousands affected, 10,000, 20,000 people affected. So His Holiness, say, there was the poultry. Many years ago, there was, I think about 25 years ago, if not 30, there was the poultry run by Tibetan people. And it said that there were, I think, about 83,000 chickens. Then His Holiness, in the 83,000, that time His Holiness must be in his 60s. Then the 83,000 chickens, His Holiness says that if you do that, 83,000 chickens, this will guarantee that Dalai Lama will live for 83 years. Instantly, all the poultry demolished. All the chickens distributed to the Tibetans. I remember my aunt also kept 2 or 3 chickens, as a pet, not as for eggs or not for meat, but just as a pet, because the chickens have to be released somewhere. So look, this is where your Buddha nature manifests. The treasure inside manifests. One word can just affect leave such an impact in the world. So this is amazing. So this is where the hidden treasure needs to be unveiled. Okay, now how to unveil this hidden treasure? This is the next question. So for that, for example, let's say one example that I give is that, let's say that, okay, that 1 month ago, let's say that my handkerchief, it fell in mud. A new handkerchief fell in the mud, and I washed it under running water, and it became very clean. A week later, again it fell somewhere, and I thought, don't worry, you wash under running water, it'll become clean. I washed it, and that time it is not at all becoming clean. Now tell me, what's the difference? Why in the first case it became very clean? Why in the second case, in first case it was mud, ordinary mud, in second case, why is not become clean? Why? Anyone? Okay. Okay. Let us think out of box. Don't take things for granted. Okay, I know that the Petruna is taking something for granted. Okay, and we'll discover this little soon. Anyone else? Anyone else? Why? In the first case, it became very clean, just running under running water, washing it under running water, it became very clean. In the second case, no way. Yes.
I think the way we took it for granted, because in first case we got scared and we did a good effort, but in second...
Same. I put the same effort. Yes, Arjanaji.
Was it done immediately, like the first case we immediately washed it, second case also
Immediately rush. Yes, Tim.
Was it a different kind of contamination, a different kind of...
This is out-of-box thinking. You're getting it? This is very important. Don't take for granted that first and second both are mud. First I said mud, second I didn't say mud. You took for granted it's mud. Whereas Tim didn't take it for granted. It may be a different stain. You're getting it? It was grease. Grease, oil. Does it go underwater, running water? It doesn't go. You're getting it? Think out of the box. Hey. Young man, think out of the box. You're getting it? Okay. So therefore, in the first case, it was a mud. In the second case, it was a grease. In the second case, it's not going away. What should I do? Think. Hey, Atiti.
Find the antidote for find the right antidote for the grease. Like what will remove the grease inside the mouth?
You know what will remove the grease? You don't know. Okay. So anyone who knows how to remove the grease? Huh? Yes, turpentine is one thing, but turpentine may damage this also. You're getting it? Ordinary detergent. What happened? Like all spoiled children. Spoiled children, they don't know what, look, spoiled children, small child, not knowing, how to remove the grease, right? Just use it, simple detergent. Don't use turpentine, right? It will just make holes in the handkerchief. Okay. So what remedies to apply depends on the nature of the defilements, as Tim said. You're getting it? So say, okay, I have the treasure inside, and this treasure, hidden treasure, is so precious, the most precious treasure in the world. So this treasure is way more precious than the whole wealth put together. And you have it. Still your treasure, there's no comparison. That's so precious. So wise people, it doesn't matter. You are wealthy, you are not wealthy, it doesn't matter. You have the hidden treasure, the most precious treasures within you, within I, within each one of us, within Buddhists, non-Buddhists, males, non-males, females, non-females, everybody has this treasure. So our job is to awaken this treasure, unveil this treasure. How to unveil this treasure? You have to knowing that treasure is not visible at the moment. How to make it visible? There should be something which obscures this treasure. So our job is to remove the obscuration. How to remove the obscuration? We have to apply the remedies. What remedies to apply depends on the nature of the obscurations. So what is the nature of the obscurations? Twofold. One is known as afflictive obscurations and other is known as cognitive obscurations. The first, afflictive obscurations. Let me give you the example. Say that somebody smashed a garlic in my mug. Somebody smashed a garlic in my mug and I don't take garlic. And said, okay, somebody smashed garlic in my mug. And you said, I'm very sorry, I did it. You owned up. And then you said that I'll clean this up. And then you remove the garlic inside, wash it under running water so well. Now, is there any trace of garlic? No trace of garlic. You smell it? It still smells garlic. You getting it? So one, there's a solid garlic, and other, there's a subtle smell of the garlic. There are two. So the stains, metal stains that we have which obscure this incredibly precious Buddha nature. So that obscuration, there are two kinds. One is like solid garlic-like metal obscurations, and the other is the smell of the garlic-like metal obscurations. So solid garlic metal obscurations is known as afflictive obscurations, and the smell of the garlic-like metal defilements is known as cognitive obscurations too. Now, tell me, what exactly is afflictive obscurations? How can I see that? Afflictive obscurations, there are three kinds. Afflictive obscurations, there are three kinds. Contaminated karmas, afflictions, and their active seeds. Contaminated karmas, afflictions, and their active seeds. Okay, so contaminated karmas we already learned, and afflictions we already learned in the context of the 5 points which are in Nagarjuna indicated in the verse. Season karmas afflictions is nirvana. Karmas afflictions arise from conceptualization of inappropriate attention, and which in turn arises from the elaboration of self-grasping ignorance, and the elaboration ceases through the wisdom of emptiness. So in that context, what are the 5 points? Anyone? What are the 5 points that you can take out from that verse? What are the 5 points? Remember? Yes, Tinsi Rangdula. Samsara. Contaminated karmas. Afflictions. Inappropriate attention. Self-grasping. So 5. Of the 5, tell me how many of them belong to the category of afflictions? 3. What are they? Contaminated karmas. Hey, penalty. Of the 3 last, what are they? Inappropriate attention, elaborate self-grasping ignorance. Yes. Okay, now my question to you is, say, well, we said that these 3, afflictions, inappropriate attention, and the elaborate self-grasping ignorance, these 3 fall under the category of the affliction. So the affliction, and the 2 are not affliction. So why the remaining 2 fall under affliction? Hey, of the 5 points, then Shuyana said the last 3, afflictions, inappropriate attention, and elaboration of self-grasping ignorance, these 3 fall under the category of affliction. But in these 3, there is the affliction, and the remaining 2, they are not affliction. So how the two which are not affliction, how they fall under affliction? Anyone? Yes, Aditi.
They also disturb the mind.
Huh?
They also disturb the mind.
No, my question is, yes, in a way I agree with you. My question is that the three things, this Shana said, these three things fall under the category of the affliction. One, but of the three, only one is affliction, and how the other two fall under affliction? Here. How do they fall under category of affliction? Why? Anyone? Anyone? Yes.
Self-growth.
Here.
Because they are like kind of seeds that grows into affliction. Because if they don't exist, then afflictions won't come up as well. Like if we just see iPhone as iPhone and not exaggerate it properly, we won't get attached or averse.
Oh, wow. Talking so confidently and totally unrelated to what I said. Very confident. Amazing. Are you from DU?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, I'm joking. Okay, anyone else? Tell me something factual. Yes. So, of the 3 points, the affliction indicated there is this gross affliction. So, and the remaining 2 are afflictions, but they fall under the subtle affliction, category of subtle afflictions. So, all 3 fall under the category of the affliction. Why the afflictions counted as separate in comparison with the first 2 is because that there is a gross affliction. You getting it? Okay. So this says, don't explain all these unnecessary explanations. Just say the affliction that you find in 5 points, that is the gross affliction, whereas the other 2 are subtle afflictions. So therefore all 3 fall under the category of afflictions. Very good. Okay, good. Now, what does it mean by active seeds? Anyone? What does it mean by active seeds of the 2? 2 meaning contaminant comes afflictions. What do you mean by active seeds? Anyone? Quick, to save time. Ashwin? No idea? Okay, what does it mean by active seeds? Yes. Say, for example, let's say, how many of you are angry now? I don't say anybody angry. Okay, you're not angry. But when you meet your mom, I'm sure that your mom says, oh, my son, my daughter, you must be tired after 8 days of retreat into Thosamling. Have a cup of tea. What cup of tea? No cappuccino. Right? What cup of tea? Okay, so anger comes up. Anger comes up. So this anger was hiding when you were in Thosamling. It's not visible. So therefore it is not in the form of visible form, it is in a form of seed. It is ready to germinate into the full-fledged anger. When the situation arises, when the conditions arise, then these seeds are ready to germinate into anger. Whereas, say like Buddha, where the anger is already conquered completely, no matter what circumstances or situations, conditions arise, no anger arises. So that is the time you have to conquer the anger. Okay, so that's the meaning of the seed, where anger, contaminant karmas, afflictions, they are not manifestly there, but the seeds are still there, ready to germinate into afflictions, contaminant karmas, and so forth. These are known as the seeds, active seeds. Okay, so that's one part. These will stop. What is the job of these defilements? This category of the defilement, this class of the defilements, their job is to stop you from experiencing fearlessness. Let me repeat it. This class of mental defilements known as afflictive obscurations. The job of that is to stop you from experiencing fearlessness. In other words, the job of that is to attract tears, painful tears, to attract miseries, attract unhappiness, to you. This is the job. Next, cognitive obscurations. Subtle smell of the garlic-like mental defilements. What is the job of that? Job of that is to stop you from knowing all phenomena simultaneously. Stop you from experiencing infinite happiness. So these two have different functions. Now our job is to eradicate these two mental defilements. The first, if you eradicate the first one, afflictive obscurations, what benefit do you get? You experience fearlessness. And the fearlessness is technically known as nirvana. Let's not forget it. The fearlessness is technically known as nirvana. And whereas if you eradicate the cognitive obscurations, what benefit do you get? You experience ultimate happiness, infinite happiness, and this infinite happiness is referred to as, technically known as Buddhahood. Okay, let's not forget it. So when we say, oh, our job, the purpose of our life is to attain nirvana and Buddhahood, then the non-Buddhists will say that, oh, this is your issue, this has nothing to do with us. Whereas if you say that the purpose of our life is to remove our fears and expand our happiness, everybody will say yes. So therefore, keep in mind that what we're doing is for your well-being. It's not about ism. It's about your well-being. It's about others' well-being. Your family members' well-being, and so forth. So okay. So this is said. Now what we see is that to eradicate these two mental defilements, afflictive obscurations and cognitive obscurations, when your mind is removed from these two mental defilements, our mind has amazing power. Amazing power. This is amazing. Say, sometimes we feel the life so hollow, meaningless, totally worthless. We feel that sometimes. How many feel that sometimes? So heavy, gloomy. But if the mental defilements, they are removed, at least to some extent, and if not removed completely, at least if you're able to subdue them to some extent, you'll feel the incredible joy and beautiful moments. Okay, how many of you had experience once in a while some extremely so pure, beautiful moments in your life? Raise hands. Pure, beautiful moments in your life. Okay, and tell me, say people who like to share your experiences. Or did you want to share your experience? Beautiful, genuine, pure, genuine and very pure, beautiful moments.
I'm going to teach a couple of years ago, and I wasn't expecting to be there, but I found myself there somehow, and there were very few people around. It was really peaceful.
Yes, many people, that they share this experience in the beach or on top of the mountain to see the vast panoramic view of the whole valley, sunset, or some music. Anyone else? Anyone else? Rosana? Yes.
Couple of years back, I got the opportunity to be a volunteer teacher at a junior school, class 4 to 5 students, teach some students music instrument.
Where?
RTCV.
RTCV, oh.
So, connecting with the kids and teaching them dances and music. I've been spending time with the adult for a very long time.
Oh, adult and kids are very different. This is what you're saying.
Yes.
Oh, you be all adults.
Seriousness is there.
Yes.
There is no any seriousness.
There's purity there. They express full whatever they feel. By the way, keep in mind that he has an amazing voice. And he's a great dancer. He's amazing. Yes, during His Holiness' birthday celebration in Delhi, he made a performance. Yeah. And he taught the dance to a Tibet house lady staff, and two of them performed on the stage. And amazing. He has a great voice. So maybe during one of the lunchtime, we will request him. Okay, who's going to request? I will not be there. Who's going to make the request? Raise hands. From Petunla, 2 or 3 should be there, and they Petunla. Okay, 2 Petunla. Okay, and Dasana. Yes, Dasana also. He has an amazing voice. Amazing. Okay, good. It's a digression. Now let's say that now knowing that now what remedies are applied depends on the nature of the mental defilements. But now we know that the nature of the mental defilements. Nature of mental defilements, the afflictive obscurations, cognitive obscurations, and afflictive obscurations, they are like what? They are like contaminant karmas, afflictions meaning gross afflictions, inappropriate attention. Finally, self-grasping ignorance. And the one is cognitive obscurations, the stains of these. So all related to the self-grasping ignorance. How to stop this? How to stop the self-grasping ignorance? Anyone? Ashwin? How to stop the self-grasping ignorance? How to eradicate self-grasping ignorance? By realizing the wisdom of emptiness. What is the wisdom of emptiness? What is the wisdom of emptiness? The wisdom is a discerning mind whose apprehension of the object tallies with the reality. What's the reality? The Buddha taught the third seal. Everything is of the nature of selflessness, emptiness, and selflessness. This is the third seal. Now, what is selflessness? What is emptiness? Okay, in the loose sense, selflessness and emptiness, they mean the same. In the loose sense, in a strict sense meaning in a technical sense, there are different philosophical schools. We're not going to touch on these in this retreat. There are the nuanced and the differences between the emptiness and selflessness. So for the time being, let's say these two are the same. Selflessness, the anatta or anatman, and the emptiness, shunyata. So these two are in a loose sense, these two are the same. And oftentimes in Theravada Buddhism, you see the mention of the anatta. Shunyata word is much less heard. Anatta is more commonly used. Anatta in Sanskrit is anatman. Okay. And the shunyata, word shunyata is more commonly you hear in the Sanskrit-based Buddhism, like Chinese Buddhism, Tibetan Buddhism. In those two, you hear the word the anatman as well as anatman meaning selflessness and emptiness both. So in a loose sense, these two are the same. Okay, that's to be like there. So now, how do we know? How can I know that? So what is emptiness? Okay, so from what we have learned yesterday, is there anybody who can just tell me, based on what you've learned yesterday, not just what you think, based on this, we need facts. We need facts. If you have facts, then we play with the facts, and then you can come up with the, say, application to transform your emotions. The facts are required. So factually speaking, if somebody can tell me, what do you understand by emptiness? From the words, from the concepts which we learned the last two days. Emptiness. What do you understand by this? Anyone? Yes?
Nothing exists on its own.
Nothing exists on its own. Okay. So if somebody can share even the vocabularies, what we've learned, so that others, particularly who are beginners, they can connect. Otherwise, if I say something that, okay, what is emptiness? Emptiness means empty of intrinsic reality. Then many newcomers, you have not heard this word, so you get lost. Whereas if you can say something which, even the vocabularies, concepts, which we already learned the last 2 days, that will be very helpful for many of us. Anyone? Emptiness. Yes, Joshua.
The object does not exist independently from the mind.
Okay. object doesn't exist independently from the mind, I would grade you like 50 out of 100. Anyone? Anyone who remembers what we discussed? Okay, Hirosha. Amazing. Thank you. Did you hear this word before? Emptiness. Nothing exists objectively. Everything's like dream. Dream can mean subjective. Did you hear this before? Before, meaning last 2 days? Jack, did you hear that? Yes. Okay. And particularly the Himani, did you hear that? That the dream is characterized as being subjective, empty of objective reality. And the Buddha taught everything is like a dream. You heard it the last 2 days? Yes. Maitri, you heard it? Last 2 days? Yes. So these are the facts. Now what Tinspetula said, that anything not existing on his own versus no objective existence, these two mean the same. You're getting it? It means same. So this is something which she learned before, and so we see that these all means. But what I'm saying is that for the sake of those who are hearing these concepts for the first time, if you can bring something which you've learned yesterday and to the last 2 days, that would be very helpful. Okay. So next is, how can we know that everything is subjective? Nothing is objective. Nothing. And another word for that is empty. Emptiness of objective reality. Okay, how do you know that? Okay, first let me tell you. You tell me whether my statement is correct or not correct statement. Gyunshuk is not in my pocket. Is it a correct statement or not correct statement? Gyunshuk is not in my pocket. Hey, did you hear what I said? Hey, I'm going to say it loudly so that you can hear it. Gyunshuk is not in my pocket. Did you hear this? No, what I said. Did you hear what I said? Did you hear, Jack?
Gyunshuk is not in your pocket.
Yeah, perfect. You heard it. I'm glad. You heard it. Okay. Gyunshuk is not in my pocket. Is it correct statement or not correct statement, Maitri? Correct statement. Because he trusts me. Right? Jack, is it correct statement or not?
I don't know what a Gyunshuk is.
Amazing. You getting it? So the Maitri followed me blindly. So right from the beginning, I came into the day when I came to sit here, I said, no blind faith. And Maitri is following blindly. Right? Okay, so Jack approach is very good. I don't know what is meant by Gyunshuk. So till I know what it is, I cannot say whether this statement is correct or not correct. How many agree with Jack? Raise hands. Very good. Thank you, Jack. Okay. Gyunshuk is the enlightened masters who already seen emptiness directly. Are they in my pocket or not? Hey, then it's not. So therefore, Gyunshuk is not in my pocket. Correct or not correct? Usually I say Langshen. If I say Langshen, she knows it. And my two friends there, they also know this, Langshen. And here, Dasanla knows it. Gyunshuk does not know. Deliberately, I use another word. Gyunshuk, even the Tibetans will not know. Gyunshuk is a technical Dharma word. It's not used by in the ordinary street. We don't use this word. Okay, so do you agree with Jack and me to say that Gyunshuk is not in my pocket? You have to know what exactly is Gyunshuk. You agree? If you don't know what it is, you cannot reject, you cannot accept. You agree? Okay. So therefore, to say that there's nothing objectively real, you have to know what exactly is meant by objective existence. If you don't know what it is, you cannot reject it, you cannot accept it. So therefore, to say that everything is empty of objective reality, you are rejecting objective existence. You agree? So to reject objective existence, you have to know what exactly is objective existence. Okay. Anyone What do you understand by objective existence from your own understanding of the objective versus subjective? Anyone? Yes.
What I perceive in I mind consciousness, what is in my reality.
That is not objective, that is subjective. I'm asking what is subjective? This is Shinala.
What we can experience with our senses, it is tangible, it is seen.
Oh, something which is there, which our senses can sense, our senses can understand. No, these are objective. Okay, good. Anyone else? It can have multiple shades of meaning. So what Inshallah said is wonderful. Anyone else? What is meant by objective existence? Anyone? Something which looks solid and touch. Yes, true. That also has a connotation objective. Anyone else? Yes?
Existing independently of the subject.
Okay. Objective means something which exists. Okay, object, subject. Say, okay, this is a flower, it's the object. And your mind is seeing that, there's a subject. Your mind which sees that is the subject. And what is seen is the object. And this flower, objective meaning this flower exists there, independent of the subject. You move the subject, still the object is left. This is known as objective existence. Okay, this is the precise philosophical answer. You getting it? Okay, anyone else? Okay, this is Shunela.
Something that is inherently existent.
Something which exists inherently. Inherently meaning from its own side, not, let's say, by the power of some other agents. Very good. Inherent existence, existing independent of the subjective mind, existing with some substance there which your senses can see, something which is solid and so forth. Anyone else? Lupsala.
Subjective are usually intangible. Objective are tangible.
Okay, objective has a connotation to something very tangible. Subjective is more fluid. It is not tangible. Very good. Okay, now what we do is, let's say that I'll just randomly pick up some things, meaning that I will say some words, and you tell me whether it is subjective or objective. Okay, don't just forget that you are a philosopher, right? I just think that you are just an ordinary person with no philosophical background. My question to you, flower is objective, subjective? Hey, louder. Okay, still many people think that they are philosophers. Carl, inshallah, flower, objective, subjective. So look, Carl is now lost between, lost between himself as a philosopher and what I asked him to imagine as an ordinary person. He's, okay, okay. So he's like, this is objective. Okay, good. Okay. Bhumikaji?
Objective.
Objective. William? Okay, how many of you say the flower is subjective, presents from the point of view of the ordinary person's view? Good. Okay. Dream. Objective, subjective? Subjective. Good. Okay, why the dream is subjective? Why? Or how the dream is subjective? Anyone? Hirusha? There's no dream, there's no substance there. Anyone else? How dream is not objective? Yes, Miriam? It just comes from your mind, subjective mind. It's nothing from the object. Jack?
Person to person, from mind.
Which one? The dream. Okay, so dream is subjective, is not objective, because it differs from individual to the individual. Right? Your dream, my dream is very different. Okay. Mirage. Mirage? Subjective, objective? Okay, Ashwin is saying objective. There must be some who will say objective. Subjective. Okay. Is there anybody who says mirage is objective? Okay. Okay, 2. Huh? Objective, subjective? Objective. Okay, mirage. Do you have, can you justify?
So if, let's say, all of us from a distance, we all would see it same. We all would see that it exists. But that's different that when we go closer, it disappears. But from far, every one of us would see it.
Okay, this we have to ask Jack. Mirage, objective, subjective.
Okay.
But he is using your logic to say that it is objective. Because mirage seen by anybody from the same distance will see the mirage. Same mirage. They will not see different.
Depends what he's claiming.
No, it's a reality.
I don't know. I don't think it's a reality.
Yeah, of
Everybody
course.
sees mirage from a distance.
Of course. By the way, have you seen mirage in your life? Look, this is a problem. He has not seen it, so therefore he is speculating. You're getting it? So he may be speaking that the thing that mirage must be somebody with a demon face. It's not necessary. What is mirage?
Something that you think exists, but it doesn't.
Okay, so which appears as water, which is actually not water. You're getting which appears from distance, which appears to water, and actually it's not water. It was, first, say, the first time that I saw mirage was, I think about like 18 years old, when I went to South India for a holiday, and the road, because that in Dharamsala, no mirage. In South India, the road, when the road is very straight, from distance you see water there. And after, oh, there's water there. And the very clear water. When I reached there, it's dry. I was so confused. Later I came to know that this was a mirage. Okay, so mirage, most of you will say this is subjective. But according to his, you're saying Jack's reason, picked up by Shubham, is that it should be objective. Okay. Say, blue snow mountain. Subjective, objective. Appearance of blue snow mountain. Blue snow mountain is not subjective nor objective, it's purely non-existent. But the appearance of blue snow mountain, subjective, objective. Imagine that we all go to Mount Kailash. And then when Patuna said that we have to put on the goggles to protect us from UV light. Right? And the goggles are blue in color. And we all look at we have the appearance of blue snow. Right? So the appearance of blue snow, is this objective or subjective?
Because we are getting all the subjects.
Okay, but we are all seeing the same thing. According to your logic, it should be objective. What is this? You say yes, yes. Objective, yes, yes. Subjective, yes, yes. What is this?
Everyone can see it.
No, this is my question to you. Is it subjective or objective? Tell me one. Don't say both. Objective, not subjective.
Because everyone can see.
And you said it's subjective because it depends on the eye goggles. You said it. Did you say this or not?
Objective.
You said something what?
Yeah, like we all are wearing goggles.
So the goggles make the difference. You're getting it?
Yeah,
Goggles represent subject or object? Look, this guy, young people, huh?
I got confused now.
Look, right? He doesn't know that he was confused. Now he realizes he's confused. Okay, good. Confusion means you're growing. That's very good. Okay, finally, rainbow, objective, subjective. Rainbow, objective, subjective. Hey, Maitri. Subjective. How many would say subjective? Raise hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Objective. Rainbow objective. 1, 2. 3. Subjective, objective. Objective. 3. Rainbow. Then Shindala. Subjective. Dasala. Objective. Okay, Tim. Okay, let's say rainbow. Can you take a photograph of rainbow?
Yes.
If it's not there, how can you take a photograph? Hey, those people who say subjective, give the answers. Hey, Omar.
Exists conventionally.
Objective, subjective. Subjective. But you can take photograph. So the photograph taken to your mind or from the subjective should be there. Then you should take the photograph in your mind. Okay. Okay, now tell me, how many you think, oh, that makes sense. We can take photograph of the rainbow. So therefore it is objective. Raise hands. Objective. Raise hands. William, Jack, Dasala. Okay, Carl, then Shirab, and Shubham, and Arjanaji. Anyone else? Objective. Okay, yes. Then Shala. Hey, Joshua?
Yeah.
Objective. Carl? Okay. So, no, Carl is going through a transition stage from ordinary being to enlightened being. Now he's confused where to go, ordinary or the enlightened being. Okay. Bhuji, subject objective.
I'm confused.
Okay. Is it due to confusion because of transition or because of what? Okay, so let's say now the question is everything is subjective. This is what the Buddha taught. But this is information we have learned from the Buddha. Now our job is to evaluate. Buddha taught it. Otherwise we have no clue that it can possibly be subjective. So the Buddha taught us that everything is the nature of emptiness and selflessness, which means everything is subjective, it's empty of objective reality. Now next question is, okay, this is something to analyze. So we have to evaluate. How do we possibly know that everything is like a dream, empty of objective reality? Okay, for this, there are a few things to learn. One, that before we plunge into emptiness concept, what is emptiness? Just say emptiness is a short form of emptiness of independent existence. Okay, let us repeat it. What is emptiness? Emptiness is a short form of emptiness of independent / objective existence. And you can put more. Emptiness of independent / objective / inherent / intrinsic / and what? True existence and self-characterized. Okay, so there are many the synonyms. So let's put it, simply put, emptiness is a short form of emptiness of independent / objective existence. Okay, good. So before we plunge into the concept of emptiness, what is very important for us to do is that there's every danger that we can fall into. Emptiness to mean as nothingness or nihilism. In other words, there's every danger that we can easily slide down into nihilism. So how to protect us? Nihilism is not emptiness. Emptiness is not nihilism. How to protect us from falling into nihilism? For that, we need to, first of all, we need to enter through two gates. If you successfully enter into two gates, then the danger for us to fall into nihilism is removed. So what are the two gates? The two gates, two metaphorical gates. Two questions. First question, do things exist? This is the question, first question. If you say no, you fall into Nihilism. This is not emptiness. This is nihilism. So you are not even entitled. You are not entitled to even talk about emptiness. If your answer is yes, no, nothing exists. If this is your answer, you are not entitled to even speak about emptiness. You fall into nihilism. So only if the answer is yes, everything exists. Good things exist, bad things exist, and we do non-virtues, miseries happen. We do virtues, happiness happen, and the compassion, the happiness increases with wisdom. The confidence, the freedom, freedom comes into existence. These are something which cannot be denied. These are reality. They exist. Only if you say that everything exists, then you are entitled to go to the second question. Second question is, do things exist objectively? What's the answer? You say no. If you say yes, things exist objectively, you fall into absolutism. You fall into the extreme of absolutism. Again, you are not entitled to go to study, you go to talk about emptiness. So, once you're able to successfully give answers to these questions the correct way, then you're entitled to talk about emptiness. Okay, what is emptiness then? Okay, the first two questions are so important. Why? So many of us may take for granted that it's obvious. No, it's not obvious. Because I met some scholars, some professors, very, very senior professors, and highly acclaimed professors who said that I'm expert in Buddhism. And acclaimed, and people respect him. And during a big conference, he said that in Buddhism, there's no self. And literally, he was the chairperson for this session, and I was the speaker. And he said, in Buddhism, there's no self. I couldn't believe that he's saying this. Well, of course, in Buddhism, self exists. Self doesn't exist objectively. Self exists. Selflessness does not mean there's no self. It simply means no objective self. As simple as that, self exists. Because the Buddha said, you are the master of yourself. Who else is there as your master? The one who tames one's mind is wise and will be liberated. So there, the Buddha taught that you are the master of yourself. The Buddha taught you exist. Take care of yourself. So Buddha did not deny the existence of self. So, and then later, I thought that, okay, maybe this is, he meant to say no objective self. And later on, then he further clarified it, saying that in Buddhism, nothing exists. I was then literally taken aback and shocked. And then he decided, because the Buddha said selflessness, there's no self. And then I felt that, okay, this is a problem. If you don't study the Buddhist philosophy systematically, how he learned Buddhism, did not go through any systematic studies. He learned Western philosophy, and he learned Indian philosophy. Even Indian philosophy, how he learned, I don't know. Western philosophy, he learned in a university, and then he read the Buddhist philosophy texts. And then he came up with many of his own ideas. He thought that in Buddhism, Chittamatra philosophy and Prasanga philosophy, these two are one. A disaster. And yet he is being respected as a great authority in Buddhist philosophy in India. Very unfortunate. Okay, so because of this, say these two questions and so forth, you don't find anywhere. So this is what came to my mind over many years of my interaction with the people, where people who claim to understand Buddhist philosophy, they fall into these problems. So therefore, to protect ourselves, myself, you, everyone, falling into these extremes. So I thought that these two questions are very important. So I said that we have to enter through these two gates, pass these two gates to protect us from falling into nihilism and absolutism. Okay, so once you succeed in following these two gates well, what's the first question? Maitri, what's the first question? I ask you, don't ask me. Wow, Maitri is amazing. Easiest thing is ask him directly. What's the first question? Lohena.
Do you think everything exists?
Okay, okay, she added one more word. Do you think everything exists? Right. Okay. So later Lohenism will arise.
Yeah.
Lohenism. Okay, now let's see Chelsea. Let's see if this is Chelseaism arising.
The first question is, do things exist?
Perfect, perfect. So it is like Buddhism and then it divides into Theravada Buddhism, Chinese Buddhism, Sakya, Kakyo, Yima, Kyalo, is all because of these isms coming, in branches. So where, like Chelsea, Buddhism will remain Buddhism, right? Exact the same concept, not, I won't say diluted, but what digressed. Okay, so do things exist? What's the answer?
Yes.
Hey, Joshua.
Yes.
Yes, okay, yes. Okay, yes. What's the second question? Tim. Okay, do things exist objectively? Perfect. What's the answer? No, things don't exist objectively. Okay, if you get the correct answers to these questions, then you entitled to go to the study of emptiness. Okay, for the study of emptiness, we have to finish this part in this session. You getting it? So that in the second session, we have to go into establishing emptiness. And then from tomorrow, we have to go through the text. Okay. So to know emptiness so well, we need to know one thing that we need to know is that emptiness equals dependent origination, and dependent origination equals the middle way. Okay, let me repeat it. Emptiness equals dependent origination, and dependent origination equals the middle way. Okay, if I tell you A equals B and B equals C, so what would you tell me? Therefore, A equals C. Okay, how many agree with this between that? When I say A equals B, B equals C, so your job is to tell me, do you mean to say A equals C? Answer is yes. So likewise, I said emptiness equals dependent origination. Dependent origination equals the middle way. Therefore, emptiness equals the middle way. Very good. Okay. So, and don't take for granted. I said that emptiness equals middle way. Okay, he said emptiness equals middle way. Therefore, it must be correct. How emptiness equals middle way? We have to first prove that. Emptiness equals middle way. To know this, we're required to understand 5 points. We're required to understand 5 points. The first is emptiness. Number 2, emptiness is a short form of emptiness of independent existence. Let me repeat it. The first is emptiness. Number 2, emptiness is a short form of emptiness of independent existence. Number 2. Number 3, emptiness of independent existence means nothing exists independently. Nothing exists independently. Number 3. Number 1, emptiness. Number 2, emptiness is a short form of emptiness of independent existence. Number 3, emptiness of independent existence means nothing exists independently. Number 3. Number 4, nothing exists independently means everything exists by dependence. Very good. Everything exists by dependence. Number 4. Number 5. Everything exists by dependence means everything's dependently originated. So from these 5 points, we come to deduce that emptiness means dependent origination. Okay, first part is done. Number 2. What is number 2? Hey, Aditi is saying something strange. Now Aditiism is coming. What is next?
Emptiness of independent existence. You said 2, right?
Okay, there are many 2s. Don't get stuck with 1 to 2 all the time. Okay, first one is done. Now the second word. What's the second word? Huh? Huh? Okay, anyone? Anyone who can make me happy? Right? I think they make me a little sad. And Himani make me 50% happy. Anyone else who can make me 100% happy? Anyone? Chelsea?
Emptiness is short form, right?
No, this you're still in the first, you're still in the first. Okay, the min.
Dependent origination equals B.
Very good. Okay, so what we said is that A equals B, emptiness equals dependent origination. Done. Number 2, dependent origination means the middle way. Okay, this is what we are talking about. Dependent origination means the middle way. How? Again, don't follow blindly. We have to study this. Dependent origination has 2 sides, dependence and origination. First part, dependence. When you say dependent, what is the opposite of dependence? Independence. When you say dependent, it rejects independence. It rejects independence. And independence and absolute, these two mean the same. So what is said is absolutely correct, is independently correct. Independent and absolute, they mean the same. So therefore, when you say dependent, it rejects the absolutism. What is the other side? Origination. When you say origination, means something comes into origination. Something comes into existence. What's the opposite of existence? Non-existence or nihilism. So when you say origination, it rejects the extreme of non-existence, or it rejects the extreme of nihilism. So dependence, the first part, rejects the extreme of absolutism. Origination, it rejects the extreme of nihilism. Now bringing the two together, dependent and origination, bringing the two together rejects the two extremes. Rejecting the two extremes is following the middle way. This is how dependent origination means the middle way. Okay, so now my job is done. A equals B, B equals C. So your job is what? Jay, what is your job? Therefore, A equals C. In this context, emptiness equals middle way. Perfect. Thank you. So this is how we establish that emptiness is middle way. It's not nihilism. Okay, this is extremely important. The next part is that the dependent origination. Let's speak a little bit about dependent origination here. In this book, The Blaze, in this book, you see that there is one, it's a compilation of very important teachings. And somewhere in the beginning, okay, Maitri, would you mind checking? There's a sutra known as the Sutra of Dependent Origination. Can you check it? Can you check it? Can you tell me? Sutra on Dependent Origination. Some in the mid, some in the beginning. Huh? Okay, Maitri, can you see that? Noble Mind Sutra, Dependent Arising. 61. Okay. So, it says 61, and there is another one also with almost a similar title.
Dependent origination and emptiness.
Okay, that is not a sutra. It is a sutra in the opening passages, in the opening pages. You see close to where what you identified. Noble Mind Sutra, the rice seedling. Do you see that? Noble Mind Sutra, rice seedling. Do you see that? Page 63. Do you see that? Okay. So if you read, no need to read it now. Later on, you quickly read through that in the opening passages of that sutra. You see that what the Buddha taught was that this is a very interesting sutra. What happened was that it was on Vulture's Peak, where the Buddha, where the Buddha was sitting there, and Shariputra was following Maitreya, and Maitreya and Shariputra, two of them sat on a stone slab. And Shariputra, they exchanged the courtesies. And then Shariputra asked a question to Maitreya. So this is mainly about this. And the question asked is, okay, this is very important. The question asked is that Shariputra said, this morning, the Tathagata, the Buddha, when he was passing by the rice field, this morning, when the Tathagata was passing by the rice field, the Tathagata, the Buddha stopped and pointed to the rice seedlings or rice, what do you call that? Rice seedlings or rice? Okay, so rice seedlings, right? Okay. And the Tathagata said, pointing to the rice seedlings, the Buddha told the monks, whosoever sees dependent origination will see the dharma. Whosoever sees the dharma will see the Buddha. You getting it? But let's not forget this. This beautiful sutra, and it's extremely beneficial for us. So the Buddha pointed to the rice seedling and told the monks, whosoever sees dependent origination will see the dharma. Whosoever sees the dharma will see the Buddha. Number one. Number two, the Buddha taught that because this exists, that exists. Because this is produced, that is produced. Because of ignorance, karma is given rise to. Because of which consciousness is given rise to. Because of which, hey, NMC, help me. Because consciousness, name and form is given rise to. Because of name and form, senses, sources, or six senses are given rise to. Because of which, contact. Because of which, feeling. Because of which, craving. Because of which, grasping. Because of which, becoming. Because of which, birth. Because of which, aging and death. And because of which, the bewilderment, confusion, and huge mass of miseries arise. Then the Buddha continued. When the ignorance ceases, karma ceases, because of which consciousness ceases, because of which name and form ceases, because of which sense also ceases, because of which contact, feeling, craving, grasping, becoming, birth, aging and death, bewilderment, confusion, and the huge mass of miseries will come to an end. You getting it? Okay. So these are teachings of Buddha. From this, what we see is that the first part, where the Buddha taught, whosoever sees dependent origination will see the dharma. Whosoever sees the dharma will see the Buddha. You getting it? Okay. What is meant by that? So this sutra explains in great detail. And let me quickly explain this to you here. Whosoever sees dependent origination, how we talk about 12 links. So 12 links, okay, is there anybody who can check it, where the Wheel of Life teaching is on this book? Anyone who can help me? Where the 12 links of dependent origin, is there anybody particular new ones, the beginners, who can identify? Okay, Joshua, you're not beginner. Okay, Hiroshi, where? 328. Okay, let's see 328. What is there on 328? Yes, 328. Do you see this? Okay, what we talked of yesterday. The season of karmic afflictions is nirvana. Karmic afflictions rise from conceptualization of inappropriate attention, which in turn arises from elaboration of ignorance, and the elaboration ceases through the wisdom emptiness, plus the 12 links that we mentioned just now. So this is all what you find in this painting. This is all what you find in this painting. And let me quickly go through this painting, and you see that this painting has a very interesting story behind how this painting came into being. In particular, I'm sharing this with the newcomers or the beginners. This painting, how it came into being was that the at the time of Buddha, there were two. Of course, there were many kings, and particularly there were two kings involved with this painting: King Uttayana and King Bimbisara. King Bimbisara is the one in whose kingdom the Buddha was residing. King Uttayana happened to be a bigger or more powerful king. And King Uttayana, as the indication of friendship, King Uttayana sent a present to King Bimbisara. And the present was a very, very expensive, what is that? Armor made of gems, very precious stones. King Bimbisara, initially he was very happy. This is something so precious. And the very next moment it turned into sadness, suffering change. It turned into deep sadness because he has to give something back in return. He has to give something in return. And he from a smaller kingdom, he did not have something as good as what he got. So he felt sad. So he was wondering what to do. Then he reported this to the Buddha. And the Buddha said, don't worry. You do one thing. You send the best painter to me. And he sent the painter to the Buddha. And the Buddha commissioned the painter to paint this. So this painting was originally commissioned by the Buddha. And Buddha instructed what to paint. And the Buddha gave the painting to King Bimbisara and told King Bimbisara that now this is your gift to King Uttayana. And King Bimbisara was so happy, overjoyed, and he sent a message to King Uttayana saying that, okay, I ask you to come with all the soldiers, with the army, and with the horses, elephants, all these, what you use during the wars, you bring them. And the King Uttayana was confused. I was trying to make him very happy, give him such a present, and now he is thinking of waging war against me. And there was one very wise minister of King Uttayana. And the minister said, okay, Your Majesty, don't feel angry. We never know what is his intention. If he intends to wage war against you, what a problem. No problem. You are more powerful, so you can just conquer him very easily. Whereas if there's some other purpose, we never know. Let's do as what he said. So he went with all the army, the cavalries, all these. And he saw that King Bimbisara was also coming with the same set of war preparation from the other side. And then suddenly King Bimbisara got off from his horse, and he was holding something, and with one or two ministers joining, very clear indication that it's not for war. So King Uttayana also got off from his horse and went with his 2 or 3 ministers towards King Bimbisara. Finally, King Bimbisara just presented him with the what is that? Scroll draped in very expensive the cloths. Then King Uttayana was a little confused. He took it, and then why? This cloth is respected so much that both sides brought all the army, the whole army. Why? Why is this so special? And then he removed the cloth. There are like 5 layers of very expensive cloths. And why? And finally he found a painting. Why is this painting so special? This was his question. Then he put the painting on the table and he was studying this. And the minister, who was so wise, was also sitting. And he was studying this. And then okay, now look at the painting. Look at the painting. Okay. Hirosha, tell me, what is at the top right? What do you see at the top right? Lord Buddha, yes. So this King Uddiyana, he did not know that the Buddha exists on the planet Earth. So he asked the minister, who's that guy? Right? And the minister said, hey, don't say guy. This is a fully awakened one. This is a fully awakened one, the Buddha. Right? And what do you mean by fully awakened one? Who has already left samsara, he's already freed from samsara completely. And he's now leading all the beings to the light of the happiness, light of wisdom and happiness. And where is he? The minister said, the Buddha, the Gautama, he's in King Bimbisara's kingdom. So why he's with King Bimbisara? Why not with us? No, it's not that easy. Because the Buddha has a great affinity to King Bimbisara. King Bimbisara, one of the greatest students of the Buddha. Then the King Uddiyana, he became more calm and more respectful to the Buddha, and then asked the minister if I can also host the Buddha to my kingdom. And he said, yes, but we have to inform this to King Bimbisara, because the Buddha has incredibly great feeling of the affection for King Bimbisara, and if you go through King Bimbisara, then Buddha will for sure accept. But you must go through King Bimbisara. Now King Bimbisara becomes very important for King Uddiyana. Okay, so this is the basic and the story. And King Uddiyana, just by studying this, and Buddha of course knows everything, knows the King Uddiyana's past lives. In past lives, King Uddiyana already practiced Dhamma so well. So in this life, it's just a reconnection, to reconnect with Dhamma, and then within this very lifetime, he attained the higher levels of the realizations. King Uddiyana, who got this painting. Just by studying this painting, the defilements were removed and he attained high realizations. So this painting is so precious. But, and also Buddha instructed that this painting must be done. The painting must be done in the facade of the monasteries, in the front. What do you call it? What do you call that place? Okay, in the front, where entrance, in the facade. So there you have to paint it, and you have to assign a scholar monk to explain this to the pilgrims. So this is what the Buddha indicated. Okay, but this, okay, if you look at this painting very quickly, what do you see in the centermost of the wheel? Three creatures you see. So these three creatures, they indicate the afflictions. We talked about afflictions. And in the second circle, you see the white and black half. So white indicates the contaminated virtues, and the black indicates the non-virtues karmas. So number 2 is karma. So we said that afflictive obscurations consist of karmas, contaminated karmas, and afflictions. So these two are the things. And then the third you see the different realms where the beings take birth. So that is samsara. This resultant state, samsara. And then the outermost circle, we see 12 segments. These 12 segments are known as 12 links of dependent origination. How innermost circle is connected to the second circle, how second circle is connected to the third, that is all in detail explained. Causal connection is in detail explained by the last outermost circle. Okay. And then the Buddha, what is the Buddha doing? Anyone? What is the Buddha doing? Maitri? Buddha is pointing to the moon. The moon symbolizes your mind. And the moon can be full moon or half moon, but it's full moon. Full moon means when the dark side is removed. So your mind, if you remove all the mental defilements, then you can get out of the wheel. And who's holding the wheel? Who's holding the wheel? Chelsea. Chelsea, who's holding the wheel? Chelsea, who is holding the wheel? Okay, it's actually a demon. A demon is holding it, and she doesn't want to call it demon. Kind of creature. Oh yeah, it's a kind of creature, right? It's a kind of creature. Okay. This seems purely symbolic. Chelsea, don't become too emotional. So it's just a demon, symbolic of impermanence of death. Symbolic of impermanence of death. If you are in the clutches, if you are in the fangs of the demon, no escape. You're going to die. So where we are born in samsara, it ends with death. This is impermanence of death. And the Buddha is pointing to the moon. But if you don't want to go for involuntary birth and death in samsara, who is out of the wheel? The Buddha. So you get out of this wheel. The way the Buddha did, you get out of this wheel. How? Buddha is pointing to the moon. Make your mind like a full moon. Moon symbolizes your mind, and the fullness of the moon, complete whiteness, is removal of all the the defilements. So how to remove it? Underneath the moon, what do you see? Underneath the moon, what do you see? You see two verses. These two verses are the Buddha's teachings, and these two verses are what you find in this comment, the explanation. Do you see that? Page 333. Page 333, the two verses are there. Strive to eliminate the defilements. How? Enter into the teachings of the enlightened one. And just as the elephant in the midst of huts destroy the hooves of the Lord of the Dead. If the elephant goes into the village, what it will do? It will just destroy all the huts. Likewise, you destroy all the Lord of Death. Lord of Death meaning stop the death. Get out of samsara, that you don't have to die anymore. Those with conscientiousness engage in the dharma of pacification of mind, abandon the cycle of birth, abandon these 12 links, and bring an end to the miseries. Okay, this is what you find in the two verses underneath the moon. And the two verses underneath the demon at the end of the painting, this is just magnification of the two verses under the moon. Okay, good. So this is what the Buddha taught. Whosoever knows, whosoever realizes the dependent origination, whosoever sees dependent origination will see the dharma. So this is it, the wheel of life. If you know this so well, then you will know the dharma, meaning that you will get the realizations. With these realizations, keep growing, then you will see the Buddha, which means you will become Buddha. Okay, this is meaning. And then next is, whosoever, because this exists, there exists. Because this is produced, there is produced. Because of the ignorance, karma is given rise to. Because of which, consciousness, so forth. So this will explain in the next class. Okay. Deyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgate Bodhiswatyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgate Bodhiswatyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgate Bodhiswaha. Okay, 3 prostrations together.